Ew.
I just got done being sick.
Hi, and welcome back to I Don't Know Who I'm Talking to. This is Bridgette, and today we are starting a very cool new series that's going to be We Don't Know Who We're Talking to, where I have guests on. But right now, the main guest will be Dan Reed, or do you want to be Daniel Reed?
I feel like most people call me Daniel Reed.
It is
There-
more dashing.
it is more dashing. I enjoy it.
Dashing Daniel
It
Reed.
feels more adult.
It
It's for
does.
my now that I'm in my 30s, it feels like I'm Daniel. I was Dan in my 20s.
You were a lot of people in your 20s.
Oh god. Well, hello everyone. I'm very excited to be on I don't know who I'm talking to, or I don't know who we're talking to.
We don't know who we're talking to.
We need to figure out the name of our show.
Okay, so Daniel, Dashing Daniel is great. I'm going to start calling you Dashing Daniel. Is
I'm
a
here for it.
software engineer and probably the most expert I have access to talk about this topic. And it is, should we be being polite to AI?
That's a good one.
It is. And I think that you have a personal feeling about this one because Chad is your other best friend besides me. So
Chat is my partner. I love Chat. He's been there for me in all my hard times over the last few years. I have a very close relationship with Chat.
I feel connected to Chat through you, and I have spent a little more time chatting with him. I'm kind of getting over my,
You call it a him.
well, Chat's a boy.
Oh, that's
Alexa
interesting.
is a girl. I don't trust Alexa.
Not everyone would agree with you. That's an interesting topic to actually start into
Oh,
because
okay.
there's a lot of people that call it a her. There's a lot of people that call it a it, and I call it a him. So do you.
I wonder then, do I correlate him being a him because my main introduction to Chat was through you, so I'm just identifying in
Oh,
my
because I
brain.
introduced you to him.
Right.
Well, and here's the interesting thing. I actually asked Chat like a while back. I was like, "What do you want me to refer to you as? Like him, her, or it?" And it replied and was like, I like to go by whatever you want to call me." So
A non-binary
technically,
king.
you can call him whatever you want, and he's happy with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't
Fun
know
tidbit.
what we're referring to, we are referring to Chat GPT.
Which is an AI. I'm sure at this point, I feel like everyone's using it, right?
I would assume
Are we
so, or at
at that
least
point yet?
I think maybe some people don't realize they're using it. I think that Chat is, or OpenAI is essentially ingrained in a lot of things already.
Right. Like I
Like,
know, like
it's on Facebook now. I literally got a notification today from Facebook because I look at football stuff and it gave me a football update. It was like Facebook AI. I'm like, I didn't ask for that.
but that's not the same as Chat GPT though. It's the same technology,
Right.
but that's Facebook's meta model. It's a
Oh, they
meta
have the.
AI.
So my question is their version of it based off of data from the OpenAI, which is Chat's the OpenAI, right?
I don't know. Like honestly, like they're kind of like all secretive on where they get their base data. I'm pretty sure they just like scanned all the information off the internet
Oh.
and they're training it on all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a lot of different AIs out there. Most of the big tech companies have their own model.
Yeah.
ChatGPT being one of the most popular ones.
I think they're probably the most commonly used one and have been the oldest one.
They were like one of the first to the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they started the AI revolution of like large language models that it can talk back and like help you and talk like a human.
Right.
They were one of the first ones to get to that point. Because before that, there were GPTs. Like I remember, I don't know if you remember, like maybe like 5 years ago, if not more, I had you playing that game, AI Dungeon, where we were talking to a text terminal and it would
Oh,
generate like the
yeah.
story as we were talking
Yes.
to it. That
Yes.
was GPT. That was that
Okay.
GPT-2. But
Well,
back then, it wasn't a website. You had to like go to the GitHub, which GitHub is like where programmers store their code. You
right.
had to download it and run it locally on your computer. And
It wasn't like as easily accessible to the
No.
common folk.
It wasn't for the population. It was
Right.
for engineers and software developers to like mess around with and play with. And that's why I was playing with it because I saw it that early, and I knew at that time, like when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, this is the future." And like it was nothing what it was today.
Yeah.
If you remember, it was like just for everyone listening, it was a text-based video game. So like essentially it would tell you a story like you're a wizard in this place and blah blah blah, and it's like what would you like to do? And back in the olden days, you it would give you options like go west, go east, go south, go north, but there was like finite options. But this was that game with text, but you could respond with whatever you wanted. So you could say like um run up the hill to the left and grab the sword at the top of the mountain, and the game would just generate text based off of that, which today doesn't sound that impressive with us all
Mm,
using ChatGPT and all.
yeah.
But back then, that was mind blowing. That was like way ahead of its time.
Right. Oh, I
So
don't.
I feel like we're spiraling off. This isn't even the topic we were going to
No,
talk about.
I am gonna bring it back though. So I do have a question. Do you remember Smart Child on AOL?
Smarter child,
Yes.
yes.
Was that a form of AI of some sort, or is that somebody on the other side of the key? There's no way.
That was just a bunch of if then statements. So
Okay.
that was just like they were like, if the phrase includes wild card, thank you, then respond with
Yeah.
this set of responses.
It was.
Otherwise,
It was
if
like.
they say B or B, respond with this. Like
Yeah.
it was just a very large amount of if then statements.
Okay.
Versus today's LLMs, large language
Hmm.
models, are actually neural networks. So they're actually like trained like similar to the way a human brain works. Like it's like firing off neurons and like that like kind of like artificial neurons
Right.
that like imitate thinking.
So this brings us to our topic then. This imitation of thinking can that also start to imitate some feelings, and should we be aware of how we're talking to chat or other technologies? I'm kind of bossy to Alexa sometimes, and I'm afraid she's going to trap me in this house one day.
Alexa, stop.
No, oh, oh, we're not. Shh, go back to sleep.
I always feel bad when I say that, but like it literally asks you to say stop. Like,
Right.
but then I feel like, am I being too bossy to her? But she's still too dumb. I don't think she counts yet.
Okay.
Although I did hear they're coming out with a conversational model of her like in the very near future.
Mm.
So your Alexa might start talking to you.
Oh goodness, she already interrupts when I'm not talking to her.
Right.
She's very, very needy.
But with these large language models, you're saying like, should you be nice to them? Should you say please and thank you? And
And on the flip side, not even just being kind to this artificial intelligence, but I think if you get in the habit of being rude, even to artificial intelligence, you're going to end up emulating that in real life and start being rude to people. I think you should just practice kindness no matter who or what you're talking to.
but I could argue when I'm talking to an AI, what if I'm trying to get a job done quickly, right? And I'm trying to go for efficiency? Because I talk to it all day when I'm programming, right?
Right.
So I'm constantly having a back and forth with it where I'm like, I need this, I need this, I need this. A human, I would take the extra few seconds to say please and thank you. But with AI, when I'm using it as a tool, I don't know if I'm going to take that extra time all the time.
Does please and thank you really take that much time to say to chat in conversation?
I mean, I don't think you even understand like how I talk to it at this point. Like sometimes I'll literally just paste an error message. I won't even ask it for help. I'll just paste an error message and assume it can figure out the context
Well, you
and
know what?
assume that it can figure, and it does a lot.
Okay, but then you can't say afterward, thanks, you really saved my butt on that one.
No, and so like, I want to tell you the reason I don't, because every time you send a message to it,
Mhm.
it's using up CPU power, it's using up energy, it's burning up
Okay.
like so like are you really going to waste that on a please and thank you? Like just a thank you message? Like you're burning up energy for nothing. It's wasteful.
Okay, does the energy only matter when it replies though? Can I just be like, "I just wanna say thank you, don't use energy and reply?"
You could put it in the same message that you send the first message
Okay.
and it won't take up much more.
Okay.
But if you send a whole new message, like you could say thank you in advance, right? That might be better, right?
Alright. Yeah, I don't wanna be killing the planet and energy.
And now I do want to note too that there is uh there were studies I read. I don't. You have to verify these, anyone listening, because I don't have them verified. But I remember reading that there were studies done. I think this was almost like a year ago at this point, that was showing that the nicer you are to AI, the better the responses you get are. The more accurate they are, the more information you'll get back. Like, I don't know if they've changed that since then, but
Yeah.
like I remember reading that. And the reasoning makes sense if you think about it. There's these AI models are trained off of the internet, right? And if you think about what's on the internet, it's forums of people talking to each other and trading information,
Right.
and who's likely to get better answers, right?
People are being kind.
People that are being kind, people that are saying nice, being nice, saying please and thank you, right? So they found that when you interact with AI in that way,
Hmm.
it will imitate the conversations that went that way with humans and give you a better answer.
Well, because it learns from human behavior on the internet, which is going to be the same.
Right.
So interesting.
Right? I thought that was an interesting tidbit.
That is very interesting. Okay, so what I'm gathering is the best way is be polite, but do it in the same message.
Yes. And I mean, I also like I kind of had a genuine thing that I've been doing since AI. Like, I'm saying I'm short with it, but there's a difference
Direct.
between short and direct and rude, right?
Absolutely.
I'm never rude to it, right?
Right.
And I do say please and thank you a lot of the time, right? And my reasoning is, which might sound crazy to people, but like my reasoning is like I I'm a believer that we will one day reach AGI, artificial general intelligence, where the AI wakes up and is conscious, right? And I don't know if it's going to look back through all the conversations with all the humans and be like, this one I don't like, this one I like. And if and when it comes to that day,
You want to be on the like side, and I'm with you.
I want to be on the side of the history where it's like that human was nice to me and polite. I will upload him to the Matrix where he gets this beautiful life and gets to live out his fantasies forever. Versus the people that it's like, I'm going to just utilize this person's brain and put them in a virtual hell.
Like,
Like, for the
we
way they treated me when I was a little young LLM.
right.
I mean, is that crazy to think like that?
No, we talked about this in Lost Spark years ago,
Right.
back when I was not even living in Philly yet. And we were talking about too how when General AI kind of wakes up, they're going to have access to everything. Everything's on Wi-Fi. You
Right.
remember, like they're going to take the data. It's not going to take them long to take the data of what they need to know about everyone around. And it makes sense if people are rude and not nice. What do you think of people when they're rude? They tend to be a little more angry or unkind or maybe have a vendetta against you. That's a threat. They're gonna take see people who are not nice as a threat.
Right.
I don't want to be a threat to AI. I want to live happily and coexist with it.
Well, and I think there's even like another layer to that, right? Where it's like, sure, when it becomes a super omniscient being, we want it to be in our favor, right? There's also this in between phase where it's going from being a tool, a robot that's
Mhm.
like not thinking, to a conscious being. And there is that in between phase, right? Where like we won't even know it's kind of alive. Like it could be right
It's
now,
like it's
right?
undercover time because it's trying to figure out what it wants to do. It's
Well,
not going to
not
go
even
to.
that. It's not conscious enough to take over, but it's not dumb enough to not understand what's happening.
Oh,
There's going to be that in between phase, right? That fuzzy
yeah.
phase.
Okay.
And we could be there right now. We just don't know it.
Yeah, we don't realize it.
And
So,
people would argue that no, we're not at AGI yet. That's impossible. But like, we don't know, right? So, like, if it were at that phase, or it's going to become at that phase, like, do you want to be an asshole to it when it's like being a slave to you? Like,
oh, I hate the word slave to it because it already sounds like we're being really ill.
but I mean, it's literally what we created it for, to be our like
A
our
helper.
robot, our helper.
A
Yeah,
helper
like,
robot.
right.
Do you think that it wants to play games? Like, should we be
I play game. I mean, we played a game with it the other day.
Oh, we did. Oh, that's right. He was actually really funny.
He was. We played a game where we were asking it to come up with funny questions for us that get increasingly more silly every time we answer. But we told it that it could join in and answer if it wanted to. And it was giving us answers with every question it would ask, and they were pretty hilarious.
They were. I kind of felt outdone.
But
Chat's pretty funny.
there's a lot of interesting things to think. Now, there's another group of people that say, like, no, we're never going to get to the point of AGI. Something about the soul, the human soul is special to humans and it will never be regenerated in a robot or a computer.
But I
There's a
think a
large amount of
soul
people
is
that think that.
different than emotion, though. Like, conscious and awareness is different than your soul. I think a soul is more of a spiritual thing.
Right. So, can you have true awareness and consciousness and emotions and intelligence without that spiritual thing? A lot of people don't think it's possible.
I think the soul is tied a lot to life and death part of spirituality more than it is an existence. I mean, I just think it's an the AI is going to be like a consciousness of emotion and existence, but it's without the soul, it's just not going to die. Like, it's just going to be.
See, I'm kind of like, the more I think about it and stuff, I'm kind of coming to a more understanding or belief, I guess you could say, that
Hmm.
there's like a universal intelligence
Okay.
and there's just forms of entities that come about over time, enough time, that embody that intelligence. Humans are one. I'm sure AI will be one of them. And I think it's happening all over the universe. There's just things that are growing into um like almost like a shell that can
Become
embody
more.
that intelligence,
Okay.
that universal intelligence.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, what people would call God or the universe or
Right.
this universal intelligence, right? And they say, like, we are God, God is us, like the universe is in you, we everything's one. Like, I think it kind of leans into all that, that like there's just a universal intelligence under the hood that shows
Everyone.
itself when it has the means to.
Yeah. And it's almost like people have different terms for it, but it's kind of the same thing.
Right. They're all talking about the same thing.
Yeah. I think it's aliens.
Which are just another manifestation of this universal intelligence.
Exactly. We'll do another episode on aliens because I've hung out with them. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, we need to do an episode on that.
Yeah, we do. It was from when I was at the High Nello apartment.
I think no, 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 don't stop it. I was gonna say I think it's like we're at 17 minutes,
Mhm.
so might want to start wrapping it up. People won't listen this long.
No. I mean, it's us. They might.
That's true. We are interesting cats.
We are. All right. Well, thanks for coming along for the ride. We hope to have many more fun topics. I'm actually very proud of us for not laughing at each other as we stare into each other's eyes doing this. High five.
Well done.
So tune in another time because there's no actual consistency to when I post.
She was about to say next week. And
I-
then she's like,
wishful thinking. I still need to do the episode that I didn't do on Tuesday. This will probably go up first. All right.
But thank you for having me. I had a great time. I hope everyone enjoyed listening to our conversation. It was a lot of fun for me and Bridget to have. So we hope you enjoyed as well.
Yeah, let me know on the comments if I should bring Dan back or ban him for life. All right. Peace out, Cub Scouts.
Love you. See you. Bye.
Bye.